While that microphone is running towards Richard, I'm going to ask a question, which is, have you tasted it?
No, there's only 2 people, I think, in the world who have tasted it, or 4 people in the world, and no, sadly not.
Mightn't it be gross?
It might be. We could flavour it.
Okay. Richard, sorry.
Richard Whitlock, Dr. Ellis, to use your sort of phraseology, you did get under my skin a bit, but hopefully don't take that too literally.
No, it's fine.
But one or two things I'd just like to pick you up on. As I recollect, I think 2/5 of all of the land base of the world is used for food and agricultural production. And so I would challenge you on your statement that 1/3 of all of the ice-free land of the world is used to feed livestock. I put that one as a bit questionable and see if that one actually does stand up to greater scrutiny. When I think of forests, deserts, swamps, back gardens, hedgerows, lawns, all these sorts of places that are not ice and not producing animal feed crops. So that would be one point. The other one is that I put a little bit of a question mark over. Animal welfare is poor due to farming intensification. I think farm husbandry sometimes can have questionable animal welfare, but I wouldn't necessarily put intensification as the driver for poorer standards in welfare. Could you comment on those points, please? Yeah,
of course. So in terms of the ice-free and the amount of land that's used, I would have to confess to using data provided to me. I would be more than happy to actually to look into that in more detail as whether it's correct. I think the point that perhaps is more important is that as the number of people increase, the number of meat or the amount of meat that's eaten is increased, so the amount of land needed will be increased. And studies in so there's a good paper by Popkin, so looking at meats or diets in developing worlds where you've got the large discrepancies between wealth and poor populations, is that the crops that would normally be fed to the or people would eat directly are going to feed the animals to produce meat for the wealthier population. So you get a movement. So in terms of the land use, I would possibly question that as well now that you've brought it up, and I will definitely go back and have a look, but I think it's more the increase in land and how it's being used, and is it being used as effectively as it could be. In terms of the intensification, it's a case of words. It's not so much intensification, I agree, it's the husbandry in how those animals are looked after. And this is, I think it's more of a global question. I think the UK is, from what I have seen, is much better than many countries in terms of our animal husbandry. I think when you look at China and Korea, for example, they're countries where their levels of animal husbandry aren't quite as high as ours. And when I look at this as a global problem, it's as much those that I'm thinking of.
Thank you. Another question down here.
Paul Temple. Ricardo, fantastic to hear about the farming in Brazil at first hand. The world has got used to Brazil's phenomenal production of soya. I have 2 quick questions. One, could you no-till cultivate without glyphosate? And the second question is, you're double cropping. Now then, what is the risk when you're double cropping at the rapid rate that you are of disease breakdown for the soya crop?
Thanks for the 2 very nice questions. Yeah, this is a debate that's right now all over the world, I guess, because of this glyphosate causing cancer or whatever. I really don't know. If there is no substitute for no-till, for the herbicide for no-till, I believe not, because in the past, my brother and I, we separate 2 fields of our farm to be organic. And we couldn't make it because erosion started. And of course, this, in my opinion, as an agronomist, this is not sustainable at all. At least on our climate over there, there is a tropical climate. And what people does not realize when in the glyphosate debate, Right now, in our farm, this year, we are planting 100% non-GMO. That's a market decision because the price over there for us, it's better than the GMO soybeans, okay? There is a premium, you know about that. Instead of Roundup, we are using at least, not in the same field, but at least 7 different molecules, seven different herbicides to control the weeds on a non-GMO production. So what's the deal? Maybe it's a choice, like a medicine treatment if you are ill. Yeah? There are the problems that the medicine can bring you, but you're trying to save your life, of course. So it's the debate, in my opinion, is not the real debate that must be in place about the glyphosate, okay? The second question, it's a challenge because the breaking of some diseases, like for example, soybean rust. It was a very big challenge in 2005. That was one of the reasons we started with our soybeans association. Now we have a sanitary period over there, of course, and fungicides. But rust is an example just for the soybeans. So if you don't have soybeans as the second crop, that's not a big problem. But the old fungicides we've been using are not as good as they were anymore. We need new molecules, and we have not so far. Caterpillar, that's an insect, it's a problem right now because corn in Mato Grosso, there are just 1 or 2 traits of the GMO traits for controlling caterpillars. They are still working. Yeah. So yes, you're right. But I don't believe it's just because of the second crop. The second crop is a benefit when you look at the system, because you can put fertilizer, more fertilizer in the corn. The roots of the corn are different, explore different part of the soil than the roots of the soybeans. And you can tell that because of the coverage and everything of the soil. That's a nice thing we are doing over there with the second crop. But yes, we have to pay attention on some like challenges to avoid this situation. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more for any more? No. Oh. David gets to ask.
I think you know who I am from this morning. Can I just put the comment about glyphosate and cancer in some sort of context? The offshoot of WHO that produced the report put it also in the same category as grapefruit juice and mobile phones. And to borrow a phrase from Sean Ricardo this morning, the wearers of the rope sandals would love to put the knife into Monsanto, and of course this is probably the best opportunity they've had in years. So, you know, a casual comment, but let's keep it in perspective. Thank you.